Okay, so in this video, we're going to look at the lower leg. So the lower leg runs from your knee joint, down to your ankle joint. If you take a look at your leg, see if it's similar to mine, and I have straight at the back and sloped at the front. So this sloped section is the change in geometry between the knee and the ankle joint. So what dimensions are we going to look at? Well, first of all, if you just measure from the back crease of the knee down to the back of the ankle joint, it's a nice straight dimension, which is easy to measure. If we just use the same dimension for the front, for now, you can just cut 4 lengths to that length. So ankle to knee length. We then have the thickness of the knee, so that's front to back, and the width of the knee, left to right. We also have the thickness of the ankle joint, across here, and the width of the ankle joint, front to back. Sorry, left to right, left to right. Okay, so how do we begin to create this? Well, those initial lengths, if you just cut 2 pieces at least and put them on the table, we're going to start to create an arrangement. So you want to measure the width of your ankle and cut a piece for that. And you want to measure the width of your knee and cut a piece for that. Now you will notice as we create this arrangement that there is a sort of isosceles triangle effect. And so on my leg, my knee tapers in on equal sides, so slope both sides. So this section represents the back of my lower leg. So if you just create the arrangement like this and glue the pieces in, you may find, if you've got very small ankles, that you have to slightly cut one side, slightly trim one side down in order to make it fit neatly. But if you create that shape first, then you're ready to start putting in your risers, and so that's going to be the thickness of your ankle and the thickness of your knee. Now, if you just switch across to this model, here we have the isosceles triangle arrangement with the thickness of the ankle risers put on and the thickness of the knee risers. Now, you have to decide at this point, do you want to produce a fixed mannequin that's not going to move around, or do you want to produce a posable mannequin? If you want to produce a posable mannequin, we have to look at some way of joining the body parts together. So I tend to do that through string or rope, because it then allows you to move the pieces around so you can position the mannequin in different ways. So at the top end of the knee, you've got a nice big gap here to put the rope or the string through. But at the bottom, next to the ankle, it's a bit tighter, and you may find, if you've got small ankles, that you have to trim down the inside side of the L shape to allow rope or string to pass through it. So all I've done is I've just marked up a couple of pieces with how much I'm going to trim down by, and I've just cut them down before I stick them in. So you've glued your risers in. The other thing you might want to do at this point, if you are using rope to hold your mannequin together and to make your mannequin maybe last a bit longer is to add a spacer. So a spacer is just 3 of the L-shaped pieces glued together. It's slightly less than the width of the knee, so I just glue it in so that the 4th side is represented by the piece of the knee, the width of the knee that you've already glued in. And these spacers are just for the rope to move around on the inside of the model, and they just give it a little bit more strength. Now, I've also done one for the ankle, so just slightly shorter than the ankle width, cut 3 pieces, glue them together, and you can pop that into there. And you will see the flat back here. So this is the flat back of the leg. And then we're just going to make up a section that is exactly the same as the section that we made before for the isosceles triangle arrangement for the lower leg, for the back of it. But this is now going to become the front of your lower leg. And it becomes like a lid. So we're going to add the lid on. Before we add the lid on, it would be a good idea to glue around the tops of the risers. Just put on enough glue to make it stick rather than lots of glue. Otherwise the glue will run down while you're holding it together, and I don't want you to burn your hands. So when you've done that, you should be able to just slightly squeeze together the risers as you add the lid. Pop it on, just push the pieces together as the glue sets. It'll only take about 10 seconds or so to set. Then once it's set, you have your shape ready to go, and you have the straight at the back and the sloped at the front. And when you look at it front on, it's going to look like an isosceles triangle. So we're going to join this. This is going to become your knee joint. And that's your lower leg. Okay.